The small glimpse was still a mystery, even after a few months of thinking and experimenting. Grattan, on the other hand, created his own way to see the Red Universe without the notice of other deities and gods. He formed a mirror in his own home to spectate the Havoc universe to monitor the Dodecaprime and the inhabitants that would protect the anomaly. Today, however, was going to be the day that the most dangerous prophecy would be told. Looking through the mirror, he watched a strange purple-haired Armadian fighting the villagers before coming face to face with its leader. They stared at one another before the first battle in the multiversal system would erupt. Many cuts and bruises were given to one another before the unknown Armadian reigned victorious. The figure walked up to the red floating and glowing anomaly, reached his hands out and grasped the Dodecaprime. The emblem violently shook, and with enough force, a large beam of dark red and purple shot up to the sky, crossing through the barrier and hitting the Underside in its path. Sirens in the Citadel went off, and the ultimatum called every worker to the laboratory. Once Grattan arrived and saw the ripple damage, a large ripple in the fabric of time tore open and began to show the Citadel the future of their home. Two figures of insanity and destruction would have their revenge on the deities, killing all who would step in their way. One of the figures was a kid with a visor and red hair. The other was the same person that Grattan saw earlier, a masked man with purple hair. The ultimatum looked at this with slight fear. The ripple then switched the scene to a second colossal explosion that would restart everything. The Terran time would disappear, never to be seen again. The ultimatum and Grattan looked at each other and began to theorize what the visions meant. Grattan suggested that it was a prophecy of a very cataclysmic event that would kill all gods while resetting to the very beginning of the universe. However, the gods themselves wouldn't exist after the explosion. The explosion would create the universes they worked to develop. The ultimatum would order everyone except Grattan to leave. With the order given, all workers except his son left the laboratory. The ultimatum looked at his son. Anger filled his eyes. He would tell his son that he wouldn't let this prophecy demolish everything he has sacrificed. Grattan responded to him saying that he couldn't change the future. The Almighty would then reveal that his son has died many times over. Grattan, with a feared look in his eyes, questioned his father. The ultimatum wouldn't give his reasons. The Almighty would then come up with a solution. He looked at the Dodecaprime, and to his surprise, it was gone. It turns out that it was separated into 3 equal pieces scattered across the planet it inhabited. After observing the remnants of the village, the same purple-haired figure was left alone. The ultimatum saw him and remembered the visions that he saw. It was the same man. He then thought of a new way to keep the prophecy at bay and to keep this figure away from the Underside. He would loop this being's timeline and keep it contained in a small model of the entire barrier. He would keep this locked away in a vault, only accessible by the one who created it. Grattan, in fear, is still questioning his father's reasons for killing his own son many times. Not only was there fear, there was also bottled rage. After a little bit of thinking, he finally spoke his mind.
I knew something wasn't right. This life was always meaningless to you. Everything we have done has all been for the sake of power, hasn't it? Do I not matter to you? Does your granddaughter not matter to you? Father, do you even care at all for the ones you love the most? Our people will suffer greater consequences because of your foolish actions. You think because you're the almighty deity, you get to control the fate of our future. Well, time and the prophecy we saw will always catch up to you. You, Father, will burn along with the Citadel you promised to protect, even if you're the one who started the flame.
His father would look at him with anger as he knew that one day Grattan could know the truth. The ultimatum would then start a whole new fight between father and son. This is what knowing the future does to a family.